Active listening is an interesting and commonly misunderstood technique to use with students who might be slightly upset, or for example they're complaining about something. Generally, for example, we'll use an example for this to make it easier. If a student runs up to you and says, say, I don't know, a year 3 girl, my friends won't play with me, they're calling me some bad names. In that sort of case, we might not want to intervene socially and let's say it's at recess and there's only a few minutes left to go. We probably use active listening in that case. That way the student knows that you understand where they're coming from. They think you might do something about it later on, and generally with things that aren't too important like that, all they want is for someone to understand and empathise with them. The key in that sort of sense, if a student says, oh, my friends are calling me names, they won't let me play with them today, rewording and phrasing as a question is really important. So you might say, oh, so your friends won't let you play today and they're being mean about it. And that gives the student, that lets the person know that you understand where they're coming from. You understand exactly what they're trying to tell you, the message that they're trying to get across. You could even try rewording and rephrasing as a question in a way that's completely different to what they said. Quite often you might even need to summarise paragraphs upon paragraphs that they've dozens of sentences as they blurt things out, and reword into a simple or succinct sentence or two. The most important thing with active listening is not to give any solutions. We're not saying, oh well, why don't you go do this and this? Or, okay, how about this then? I'll go tell those students off and do-do-do-do. That's what active listening is all about. It's not for that particular situation. If it was a bit more serious, or you could even say something like, or after you've done a little bit of active listening, you can say something, you know what, I'll have a talk to them later on if I catch up with them. Something like that. And don't fish for information. So in that conversation you may ask a couple of more leading questions, but active listening is typically letting them know that you understand exactly what they're going on about. Fishing for information is, for example, saying, okay, what did they call you? Or what game were you playing? Where are they? Those types of things. That's not really what active listening is about. Okay. Practice it, use it a lot, especially if people are upset. Instead of turning into a big behaviour management issue where you have to follow things up, give consequences, quite often using a simple technique like reword and rephrase as a question will solve most problems there and then. And you can then go and have a little chat to those students for a minute or two later on if you need be.